It's all about confidence, and it's all about not losing your cool. The U.S. team went out there. They forgot everything. The first half, they could not move the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. They played horrible. They played so horrible, got that goal scored on just by not paying attention, went back and scored a goal, and then they didn't pay attention again, and then they completely lost their head. The goalie made a dumb, like fourth grade mistake that, when the ball's coming your way and you're out of the goal, you got to kick the ball out of bounds. You don't play cute with it.
Welcome to Start My Man podcast, where we aim to make men masculine again. I'm your man, Nicky Billou, and we've got a fantastic return guest, Abteen Vaziri. Welcome to the show, Abteen.
Well, Nicky, it's so great to be here with you, and how exciting is it? Unfortunate circumstances. There's a war going on. We're trying to free our people in Iran, and then at the same time, we got this world event that's happening in the World Cup, and how exciting! I'm a huge soccer fan, but I gotta tell you, I'm a bellwether soccer fan when it comes to European teams. I get excited during the World Cup. During the World Cup, during the Masters of golf, I just get so excited about soccer.
All right,
I watch every single game.
100%. I'm with you there. So listen, here's what we're going to do, though. You and me, man, we'll make a plan. I'm going to bring my son. We're going to go to Manchester City and watch Erling Haaland play, man. We're going to go do that this year.
We're going to do that. We're going to do it. You know what's funny? I was in London for a conference, and a friend of mine we worked together at the time, he was living, I think he lives in Malaysia now, but he took a bus, went to Manchester City. It was a pain. This was like when we're in London, there was there was all of these strikes going on. So the train workers and the bus worker, but this guy, he figured out it took him 12, 14 hours to get to Manchester, watch that game, and came back and was in the conference. And I was like, man, I wish I was more of a diehard soccer fan than him. One of my bucket list items has always been to go to a British soccer game, go to Italian soccer game. I've been to an Argentina soccer game. I went to a Boca Juniors game, and what an amazing experience! Whole
I gotta go. I gotta go do that, man.
Oh man, I went to a Boca Juniors game, and I tried to go to a second Boca Juniors game. We couldn't get tickets, but it was an interesting experience.
I want to go to a Boca Juniors game. I think I'm gonna have to make that happen. I got a friend of mine who lives in Houston. He visits Argentina for work a lot, and we'll make that happen. But we're going to fucking England. We're going to see Manchester City and Erling Haaland play, man. That's going to be fucking out of control. We were just talking about what happened today in soccer. Today, Argentina played Egypt in the round of 16. And at the 78th minute, Egypt was ahead 2-0. Argentina had been awarded a penalty in the first half. The great Leo Messi took it, and the fucking Egyptian goalie saved it, just like he saved Mehdi Taremi. And at the 78th minute, I'm thinking, I wasn't watching the game. I only watched the first half because I was working with my clients. I'm thinking, okay, this is over. Argentina's out. The world champions are out. There's gonna be a new world champion. And then as soon as I say this to my clients, they go, okay, it's 2-0 Argentina. Oh man, I'm just sorry, I have to look at this. The guy goes, no, it's 2-1 now. Argentina's going. I go, what? And one of the dudes in our group had said, yo, man, Argentina's going to come back, just like Belgium did the other day. I go, come on, how many times per World Cup is that going to happen, right? Once. And then all of a sudden, we're doing our work with the clients, doing the sales, mock sales conversations. And I pull up my phone. I look again, it's 2-2. Go, what the fuck? 2-2. I go, Argentina, 2-2. I put it in there. And everybody's, yeah. And then 10 minutes goes by. Argentina's ahead 3-2. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the Belgium game. It's the craziest against Senegal, right? Against Senegal. And that's the truth of the matter, man. The World Cup is a place where incredible things happen. And I think, for me, this World Cup has just been the greatest World Cup ever. What are your thoughts?
I think it's been an amazing World Cup. I think having 48 teams is a little too much. Because honestly, a lot of those early group games were kind of boring and weren't all that great. And it took, imagine all that work to get to a round of 32. I think there's a better way to do that. Maybe you go from the round of 48. I mean, to have 3 teams go up, I think it was just a little too much. It gave people a little fatigue. Listen, the sports leagues, they want more games. They want more fans involved. They want to make more money. And they want to give more countries a chance. An opportunity. My girlfriend is Venezuelan, but her family, her father's side of the family, they're all from Italy, so they're huge Italian soccer team fans, and I love Italy, right? So I joke that the FIFA made the round of 48 to try to get Italy in, and Italy still didn't make it, unfortunately.
4-time World Cup champions Italy. Hey, that must not
Listen,
have gone well over
people
well.
don't realize how hard it is to win a World Cup. And we saw that in the U.S. game. That U.S. team is the most talented. I bet on them to win the whole thing. That U.S. team is the most talented U.S. team that we've ever had on the Team USA.
Yep,
I think either 9 or 11 players play in professional starters in European leagues. So they're all world beaters.
Top level.
And arguably, I think in terms of skills, they're just as good as Belgium, if not better. And in fact, they were slight favorite. But what happened in that game, and this is what we're just talking about this a minute ago, why I think Haaland has got a shot to win this whole thing. It's all about confidence, and it's all about not losing your cool. The U.S. team went out there. They forgot everything. The first half, they could not move the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. They played horrible. They played so horrible. Got that goal scored on just by not paying attention. Went back and scored a goal, and then they didn't pay attention again. And then they completely lost their head. The goalie made a dumb, like fourth grade mistake that, when the ball's coming your way and you're out of the goal, you got to kick the ball out of bounds. You don't play cute with it. And then, it was just, they made so many mistakes, and they lost that game, not because they were the worst team, not because they didn't hustle, not because they weren't even less coach. I think they have one of the best coaches, but they went in there with no confidence, and Belgium took advantage of that and ate their lunch because they went in there with no confidence. If you go in there with no confidence, and I got to tell you, it's interesting. The Iranians, and I have a little hate and love relationship with the Iranians. My grandfather was the goalie of the same team, Team Medley. He played for Esteghlal, which used to be called Taj, the crown team. Now it's called Esteghlal FC. He was the goalie. And my grandfather was 6'3", athlete, good-looking guy. And my it's interesting when watching this Iran Belgium team, Taremi at halftime went and told the other guys, they said, guys, we got to go out there, and when they're hitting us, when they're intimidating us, we got to go out there and show them confidence and just run the ball. We're just as good as them. And they went out there, and it was probably the most boring game in all the World Cup, 0-0 between. But they held their own against this. Listen, Belgium's. I watched. People don't understand how amazing that
savage
game.
Team, man.
Belgium's got some guys that are built like LeBron. Like the guy that got hurt from Senegal, that was that got hurt in the USA. That guy is built like LeBron. He's just pure muscle, pure skill. And by the way, that comeback they had against Senegal, it was probably one of the best games in the whole World Cup. Belgium. I watched that game. When they came back, when they're down, I think 2-0. Yeah. And they came back and just
I stopped watching the game. I had some work to do, so I stopped watching. I go, it's over, right? And then my son calls me and goes, yo, Belgium won. I go, what do you mean Belgium won? He said they came back, they won 3-2. And I went and I watched it, and I'm like, but these guys are savages. You see, this is a good segue point into a topic we can explore on this podcast. The American team, great bunch of young men, were really their boys. Their confidence level was that of adolescents. They're boys. They don't have that masculine, manly ethos to them. And the Belgian team, they played like men. They played like fucking men. They went into the Lions' Den, the enemy's home stadium, and they stayed calm and they kicked ass. And there's no reason why the Americans couldn't have done the same. They did really well until they got to this game. And then they're like, oh, God, we're going against Belgium. Used to be number one in the world, blah, blah, blah. And you could tell they were playing to lose in their heads. They
were scared, and they could not pass the ball. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't tackle. They forgot all basic skills. Like, it was like I was watching that game, and I'm like, they lost this game. I mean, like after the first 10 minutes, I'm like, they lost this game. They lost their head. And I was hoping that one of the hydration breaks and one of the half times, the coach would pull them aside and say, guys, you guys are terrible. This is the worst games you've ever played in your life. Like, this is like, forget you're in the World Cup. Go out there and have some fun. Play some freaking soccer. They never got their head back. From the 82nd minute to about 84th minute, for about 2 minutes, they played like they usually do. And then they just fell apart.
No, and then they did. And then Lukaku came in and he scored the goal. And Lukaku is a savage beast,
That guy, by the way, he's young and he's a superstar. Now
Who,
it's interesting,
who are you talking about?
The guy that he had 2 goals or 3 goals for Belgium. What's the young
No,
kid?
no, then that I forget it. I forget his last name. Derek Kerr something. I'm talking
Yeah,
about Romelu Lukaku, the older
yes,
kind of Belgian, the big black guy,
yeah.
who looks like a fucking
Senegal
fullback.
guy, right?
Yeah, he
Oh,
looks like a
you're talking about the guy that's their all-time leading scorer who has
yeah,
92
yeah,
goals.
Romelu
They brought him in
Lukaku.
late, which, by
He
the way, from
scored
a
the
strategy
fourth goal.
perspective,
He scored the fourth goal, bro. He
yeah,
scored the fourth goal, but he scared them. He came in. The Americans are like, "Oh, I'm scared. Lukaku's here. Fuck off, man. Hammer him."
I think the U.S. made some coaching mistakes too. They should have never brought Pulisic in. He was hurt, and Belgium took advantage of that and hurt him even more. And then the U.S. just lost their head. I mean, the U.S. lost their head before the game started. They went in there just scared, and I just couldn't. They had all the talent. This is the best game. They're on the biggest stage, and they just couldn't handle the pressure.
No,
that's all it was.
But that's what happens in the World Cup, dude. That's why the big teams usually win,
and you know, talking about Iranian team, pulling all the politics aside, you know, Iran it was unfortunate they never went up. They never lost the game. I mean, against this amazing Belgian team that just destroyed the U.S. They went scoreless, right?
But no, they scored a goal that was called back.
It was called back.
Scored a goal that was called back.
That's
and
right.
Honestly,
and against Egypt,
4 years ago, that fucking goal wouldn't have been called back. These stupid offside rules today are fucked up.
The VAR. I'm not crazy about it. I think FIFA is making a mistake on this VAR. I think they're gonna. I think just like the NFL, where you have instant replay, but certain things are not reviewable. They need to kind of button up some of the rules because
honestly,
in the early days,
there should be a limited number of VAR challenges available. You should be given teams a right
just like you have 2 challenges, the whole team.
2 challenges, yeah, that's it. Now the ref can choose to do it, but if you say and the ref go every time, the fucking ref can't be doing VARs all game long. That's bullshit.
Like there's been too many games that have been controversial. I mean, I can tell you the most controversial.
Iran-Egypt was controversial.
Iran-Egypt was controversial, but I can tell you the one.
So hold on, explain this to me. I saw that goal they called back. There was an Egyptian defender on the goal line. How the fuck is that offside?
That they have a rule that says that if the goalie's out of the goal, the next player basically that negates the offside line and it creates a new offside line, which I didn't know that rule, by the way.
Me neither. Like, that is like, did they make that shit up in the last couple of years?
No. Yeah, it's a new rule. I think it's in the last 4 or 5 years. People. I posted about it. You know, listen, I'm not a fan of the Islamic Republic Iranian team, even though my grandfather played for the Royal, for the Taj team and for goalie for the national team for Team Melli. But I thought they got robbed out of the goal, and people corrected me online. They said no, this is a rule, and it was enacted a few years ago, and this is the exact text of the rule, and it is a rule.
Yeah, well, these are stupid
but
rules.
Croatia got screwed bad. I mean, that was I heard Croatia got 4 goals taken back, and that goal against Portugal.
No. Listen, I watched that whole game. They didn't. They got 1 goal taken back. Portugal had 2 goals taken back.
In that game, they got 2 goals taken back. But I think overall in the World Cup, they got 4.
Portugal had 2 goals taken back too. In that game.
It just puts a bad taste in people's mouth because you make the referee the star of the game instead of the players. Yeah,
fuck the ref, man. Fuck the refs. All these VARs. Oh yeah, VAR. Final decision. Fuck you. You stupid ass ref. You are a ref. You are not the star of the game. You're some goddamn asshole who's charged with adjudicating things. But listen, man. So speaking about the game, Erling Haaland. What a fucking total savage.
He is a superstar. I think he's going to win the World Cup. He's going to destroy England. And by the way,
that's what I believe. I think England's going to fucking lose to them.
If you look at the bracket, the easy side of the bracket is the Haaland side, and now they got to go through Argentina. But the other side is where France is. It's tough. So Haaland, if they beat everyone, they could be potentially up against Haaland. I'm going to make another crazy prediction. I think Morocco is going to beat France.
You know what, man?
Morocco matches up so well against France that I think most of these other. I don't think there's any team that could beat France, but I think Morocco, they're hungry. That could be France.
I think France is beatable, bro. Sorry to say it, but I think they're very beatable.
I think any team is. There's not any team that's that dominant. Look, Argentina was almost out 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. This is my opinion. I think Argentina makes it to the semis. That's what I believe is going to happen. I think they're going to go up against Argentina's going to go up against Norway because I think Norway's going to beat England. That's what I believe will happen. Um, and I actually think France is going to win. But who are they going to go up against after that?
Spain.
Spain. I don't think they get through Spain.
It's gonna be France and Spain on one side, Argentina, Holland. I'm sorry, Argentina
Argentina
and
and Holland, yeah,
Haaland,
Norway.
Haaland on the other side. I have a buddy who's from Holland. His name is Nico, and I tell him I was like, well, you can't root for Holland, but you might as well root for Haaland. You know, he's a Viking.
Yo, dude, man, I love that dude. He's so fucking funny. He's hilarious. He's
I love the fact that he came to Dallas
the Texas
and got,
fucking
got,
hat,
got a
and
cowboy
that was
hat
awesome,
and
man.
wore
That
his
was
shirt,
awesome.
"Kiss My Dallas."
Yeah, yeah, man, yeah. And I love how he talks about his food, honey, and we have beef heart, and
Meat, we
beef
gotta eat
liver,
beef and
beef,
honey.
honey, and raw milk. That's just this guy.
This guy is just a super, like, every World Cup. I remember freaking 6 World Cups ago. Ronaldo was a 17-year-old kid. He came with his teddy. Do you remember when he had his teddy bear? He was a
No.
17-year-old kid. He would bring his freaking teddy bear. I remember the first World Cup he played, they were making fun of him. They called him, all kinds of, names. But he had his little teddy bear he would bring to the games. And right before he played, and I'm like, who's this 17-year-old kid? And that World Cup, he became a superstar. And Haaland, this is his World Cup. This is his superstardom. And he's a little older. I think he was 25, but he's gonna make some advertisements. He's gonna be all over a lot of media, and he's gonna, there's a lot of teams that are gonna play on.
The all-time record for goals scored at a single World Cup is 13. It's held by a Frenchman named Just Fontaine. He did it in 1958.
How many goals did Klose have? Because I remember
16,
one of the World Cups,
but no, in a single World
overall,
Cup,
but one World Cup he won the
Golden Boot, but with 5 goals.
Golden
That was back in the day. So right now, Messi's leading with 8. Okay, and my belief is that Messi will finish with 11, but I think Haaland might score 13, man, this time out. He just might do it. He's that much of a savage.
And by the way, look, right behind Messi, that record, Mbappe's got 9. I think Messi's got 20, Mbappe's got 19.
Messi's got 21 after today.
Oh, 21, that's right. Yeah, so Mbappe's a couple behind now.
Mbappe, Messi might end up owning the record after this World Cup, but Messi's retiring after this World Cup, and Mbappe.
But listen, if Haaland comes 4 years from now and scores another 7,
that's what's going to happen. Mbappe.
I mean, it's a little unfair to compare Messi's record or Klose's record or anyone's record because now you have played a lot more games. So like round of 40, you got 48 teams. You're playing a lot more games, and you're playing a lot. You're playing. Yeah, but you're playing a lot worse teams. Like now, granted, we got the Ivory Coast who's played before, but Cabo Verde, some of these countries that no one's ever heard of.
But Cabo Verde fucking kept their fucking.
They held their own.
Yeah, man, they didn't let in a lot of goals.
The LinkedIn team with a goalie who was a 41-year-old that found on LinkedIn. The guy just got more Instagram followers than Tom Brady.
I know, it's crazy, but this is the power of soccer, though, bro. This is the power of football, man. It's the greatest sport in the fucking world.
It brings countries together. I remember in 1998 when Iran played USA and beat USA, and then the Iranian team went and gave flowers to the USA team, and we thought, good things were going to come out of that, and then the regime just got more.
The players on that team were pro-Iran.
Azizi, Ali Daei.
Ali Karimi, those guys, Mehdi Mahdavikia, those guys were fucking amazing, man. And that was a great game. I remember that game. Iran beat the U.S. 2-1 that time, but they lost in the last World Cup to the U.S. So
that's right.
Yeah, no, man, it's.
I was in New York. I watched that game. I remember.
The World Cup is a time where the world comes together. It's also a time of great joy. It's a time of fucking great joy. I have so much excitement and joy watching the World Cup. Nothing is more fun than watching the World Cup, brother. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of fun. Listen, this Egypt game, I didn't realize that started. I look and Egypt is up 1-0. I'm like, oh my God, is this real? And then I turn it on, they score another goal and they take him back. And then, like you said, 78th minute, they got 2 goals. I'm like, this game's over. Egypt's moving up.
Egypt's moving on, moving forward. and boom,
I have a
fucking
one of my
Messi in Argentina came right back and they fucking took him down. Holy shit, bro.
what a game. What a game. I mean, momentum is so important in soccer too. That's the US never had momentum. They couldn't control the ball, they couldn't move the ball. And it's crazy because those guys are so capable. I've seen them control the ball, I've seen them pass amazing. I've seen them be world class and they just couldn't do it.
Here's the other thing, man. I think it's yesterday, Dave Portnoy, you know him, the Barstool Sports pizza review guy.
Yeah.
He makes a big thing. He does this thing. He takes his US shirt off. He says, I'm throwing this in the garbage and this terrible. And because American athletes, these are country club D-level athletes. They don't know what they're doing. We need to get LeBron James and guys like him to play soccer for 4 years and they'll dominate and kill these guys. I'm like, are you stupid? How stupid are you? And I put a little video together on Instagram and I said, yo, El Presidente, motherfucker. All respect for building Barstool Sports. All respect for the pizza review channels. You are the pizza review GOAT. I bow before your superior knowledge with pizza reviews. But when it comes to football, soccer, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. American basketball players cannot carry the jockstrap of soccer players in a soccer game. The great Kobe Bryant actually played soccer in Italy when he was a young man.
He did. His retirement.
And he was very good. He said,
a lot of people didn't know he was going to buy a soccer team.
Let me finish. He said, and I quote, that I like soccer better than I like basketball, but I am much better at basketball than I am at soccer. And I saw him. There's video of him with Inter Milan and kicking the ball around. And, he's not bad. But he is not stupid enough, or he was not stupid enough to think that he could actually fucking play soccer with the best soccer players in the world. Because American athletes are designed for short bursts. Soccer is a game where you're fucking running full tilt for 45 minutes. No breaks, no sitting on the bench, no fucking, blah, blah, blah. This hydration break, I predict it's going to be gone because the fans, the players, everybody hates it. I think they're going to be gone in this fashion. And American athletes that have played basketball and football all their lives cannot all of a sudden transfer that, go into soccer and beat these soccer players. This guy's a moron that he thinks that's possible. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, listen, it is true. I mean, people always wonder why is it that US, dominates all these other sports and then they can't have a good soccer team. It's true. Like, if you're in Holland, the number one sport is soccer. If you're in Germany, the number one sport is arguably soccer. But it's not that we lose athletes like LeBron or Kobe or others to football and basketball and hockey and soccer is like fifth or sixth in that. It is true that is, but what it all comes down to the farm system, and it comes down. There's a reason that these European teams are so dominant is because from the time they're little kids, they have these training academies and these kids from 3 years old, and we have that here in the U.S. But we focus a lot of that really on girls soccer a lot more than guys soccer. We have it for guys soccer, but there's a reason that China has 1.2 billion people or whatever, 1.3 billion people.
And they didn't even make the World Cup
because they don't have those. They don't have those academies. They don't have that system, right? But let me tell you, I was here in '94. I lived in LA when soccer was not big, and it came here and it made a little bit of splash, but it never really kind of became. In Dallas, it's always been a big sport. But this World Cup, I think it's changed a lot. It's amazing how media has actually influenced sports. I tell you, like people in the U.S. didn't watch Formula One. I like Formula One. I always watch Formula One, but people in the U.S. didn't watch it. Formula One became a household name, and people that you didn't even think watch Formula One started watching it when it became a Netflix show. And now with the World Cup, and I think Netflix is going to start doing some shows, soccer is going to blow up. I'll tell you, I signed up for season tickets for a team here in Dallas, and it's not FC Dallas. It's a league below them, and it's called Dallas Atletico. I had no idea, and they're playing at Fair Park in a nice stadium that actually had World Cup games there before. The old Dallas stadium called Fair Park, where they played the Texas OU game. And this team, I had no idea. Dallas Atletico is actually part of the farm system for Madrid Atletico. So this soccer is going to blow up. And by the way, two of the smartest people, I read this article the other day about Beckham, how he made the sport of soccer, right? When he was at Real Madrid, I think he was getting paid 18.5 million euros, and he took a pay cut, getting paid $6.5 million US working or playing soccer for LA Galaxy. But part of that was he was going to get some of his receipts, and then he got an expansion team at 25 million to build, Inter Miami. And he ended up, by the time he got the franchise fees were 13 times as much. They're like 250, 300 million. And he got his team. And then he was able to convince Messi to come here. And Messi could have went to Saudi Arabia like Ronaldo and took 300 million. But Messi took a cut. And now Messi owns a piece of Adidas, a piece of Apple TV soccer, and Messi's going to be worth a lot of money. But when these two guys came in here, now they made it okay for other Europeans to come. I think that one of the fastest growing leagues is going to be MLS, and it's going to get a lot of good players. So soccer is really going to pick up in U.S. and Canada, North America.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I got to see Messi play in Toronto on May 9th. Because Inter Miami came to TFC. I have seasons tickets for TFC. I have really good seats. And I have 3 because I bought them for me and my 2 sons. But my older son, he doesn't come to soccer games with me anymore. He works and he wants to work. So I called a buddy of mine and I said, Messi's coming to town. How'd you like to see one of the greatest soccer players of all time play? And he said, you're kidding, right? I said, I'm not kidding. And he said, how much do you want for the ticket? I said, it's a gift. And he's like, you're kidding. And I said, I just need an answer right now. You coming or not? And he says, oh my God. Okay, fuck it. I'll change whatever I got going on. I'm coming. And dude, they crushed TFC. It was 4-1, right? And Messi scored a beautiful goal and assisted on 2 others. But he played the entire game. He was amazing. And, from my point of view, I was in the stadium. I got to see him play, which was fantastic. I was with my son, which was fantastic. And I got to help a friend of mine out by giving him a ticket to come see Messi play soccer. It was a phenomenal experience. And in my opinion, soccer is a sport of kings. It's the greatest sport in the world. It's the universal language of humanity. And we all are happier when we're talking about soccer and playing soccer. And the World
Cup,
brings
people together. It really brings people together.
It does. And, I'm not a fan of the Islamic Republic like you're not, but I thought one of the most heartwarming scenes was after the first game when Gianni Infantino went into their locker room to basically buck them up and cheer them up and give them a pep talk. And he told them how proud he was of them, how well they played against New Zealand, and how, because the U.S. Government was giving them a hard time about getting in and out of the country. And
yeah, but I think,
but I'm just saying it was really cool to see Infantino, who's the president of FIFA, leave the game and come talk to these players and just say, "Hey, you guys are great. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing."
Iran got, and it was crazy because even after they had 3 ties, they were supposed to get a 3rd spot, and all the stars had to align for them not to. So it ended up, and it happened.
God didn't want it to happen.
But there was a few times where Taremi in that New Zealand game, he was 2 defenders in front of him. Right was open, left was open, and instead of passing, he just took a stupid shot and hit the post. And those a few things. If these guys had done different, they would have been.
Sardar Azmoun wasn't there, right? And Sardar Azmoun is the best scorer Iran has ever had, except for Ali Daei, right? And Sardar Azmoun wasn't there because he's against the Islamic Republic. So these sons of bitches didn't want to give him a spot on the team.
It was political. Totally political. They didn't move up to the next level because of because Taremi was selfish and because the Islamic Republic didn't let some of the best players play. That is a fact.
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact. But I'll tell you, the game is a beautiful game. The people of the world see it. The people of the world love it. And these last 28, 29 odd days have been some of the most magical days for me of my life. I have spent so much time watching football, and some of the games have been magical. On the weekend, I got to see England, Mexico. Man, was that a phenomenal game.
Wow.
Wow, was it an amazing game.
I had some friends that went to Mexico City to watch that game. I didn't realize that was the most expensive ticket in all the World Cup for some reason.
Really?
How much? Yeah, it was the most expensive game.
How much was it?
I think they were saying like like the average ticket was like 5 grand or something.
Wow, crazy. And then um Haaland,
Haaland.
Norway playing Brazil and beating them. They fucking beat Brazil. Like that is just mind blowing to me. I'll
It
tell you something from
reminded
my.
me of when Germany beat Brazil 7-1 in Brazil. That
Oh,
was
that
like
was crazy. That was mind blowing too. But you know, um, I think Brazil made a mistake by not playing Neymar the whole game. I mean, that's you know the best player you've had in a long, long time, and you're keeping him on the bench. You fucking idiots, right? Um, and they Neymar is cool, calm, collected, and I think he would have been somebody who could have helped Brazil score sooner. Um, and I think there's a lot of people who thought, oh, Haaland, he's just a lazy ass, like you said, right? And I'm like, no, that's just how he plays. I know he's waiting for his chance. And when the chance came, he took advantage of it like twice. Twice the header and that shot, they were absolutely sublimely beautiful.
yeah, and then in that Mexico England game that you mentioned, there was some people like being violent in the fans, like telling the British the British fans, we're gonna slash your throat, you're not gonna make it out of here alive. And you gotta and by the way, Mexico, it's such a big soccer country. I've been there when Chivas in Mexico City when Chivas is playing the championship. The whole town goes crazy. They're just such huge soccer fans. And for England to go on their home turf and beat them, that was tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
But
That
let me
was
tell
tough.
you, Mexico's got a 17-year-old who's a freaking superstar. He's the youngest kid ever to start in a elimination round since Pele. I think Pele was just a few months younger than him.
Look, good that you brought Pele up. I am a huge fan of Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi. I think they're both amazing. I'm not one of these people who hates either one of them. Um, it's an honor to have gotten to see Messi play in person twice. Um, it is an honor to have witnessed Cristiano Ronaldo play all these years. Man, he's given me so much joy over the years. I love them both. I think they're incredible, and they brought so much joy to me. But I am just absolutely astounded that people think either one of these two is the greatest of all time. They are
Yeah,
not.
it's
They are
Pele.
not. It's
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 Pele.
Pele. It's not even close.
Like,
It's not a
it's the
debate.
same argument with like LeBron versus Jordan. Listen, you could be as dominant as you want, but championships at the end matter. And Pele, like, he won 3 World Cups. No one's ever.
Pele won 3 World Cups, and not only that, when he was 17 years old, he was the reason Brazil, at a 17-year-old, won the World Cup. In 62, he didn't play as much, but he was definitely also an incredible reason why they won. And in 70, he was absolutely the reason they beat Italy in the final and elsewhere. He has scored over 1,200 goals. Now, you can say some of those were friendly games. Well, you think in friendly games, they just let you score goals? They just say, "Oh, okay, it's a friendly. Go ahead, put the ball in the fucking net."
My grandfather's
Ridiculous.
biggest, when I was a kid, I remember some of the stuff vividly, but I don't know all the stories because we had such a huge age difference. But one of the stories that he always told me was they went and played a friendly game against Italy. Iran did, and they beat Italy in Italy, and that was like one of the highlights. He had won. People don't realize like Iran dominates the Asian Cup. Like all the Asian
All the
countries,
time.
France, Japan and Korea and Saudi are pretty much the only real threats. Iran dominates us. Iran dominates the Asian Cup, but then they come to World Cup, and now the last 4 or 5 World Cups have been holding their own. But before that, so like they didn't even make it. The '78 was the first time they made it. So
Yeah.
even though these teams are so dominant, like Ali Daei would play against Oceania and score 12 goals on
12
them. That's what he
goals,
had. He had the most goals, but Ronaldo broke his record. I think he had 110 goals, 109 goals.
109
But,
goals.
but
Yeah.
but they would play these teams that were just dominant, right? But then they would come to the World Cup, and then that's a whole different game. A lot
That's
of
a
people
whole
don't
different game.
understand there's only 9 countries that ever won the World Cup. 3 of them in South America, 6 of them in Europe. That's the only 2 continents that have ever won. Uruguay's won it twice from South America. Brazil's won it 5 times. Argentina's won it twice.
Three
And then
times. 3 times, right?
Argentina's won it 3 times, right? And then from the Europe side, you got Germany and Italy,
Italy.
who, by the way, Italy won the World Cup in Germany, and Germany won the World Cup in Italy. So
I
they hate
know.
each other, right?
They hate each
And then
other.
you have France and England, and then you have Spain, and I'm forgetting France, right? France, England, Spain, And then there's two teams that have just dominated the European Cups that never won the World Cup. One of them is Belgium, the other one's Holland. These are two teams that are just amazing teams, but for whatever reason, they've gone unlucky, never, they've gone far to the quarterfinals and a couple of times finals, but they just never won, right? But let me ask you, a couple of years ago, I went to Vietnam and I was flying Qatar Airways. I think it was when they were hosting the World Cup. And on Qatar Airways, the 17-hour flight, you could watch every World Cup game from 1930 all the way, and some of them are like black and white, whatever, all the way to this. So I watched, I forget, I think I want to watch as many as I might have watched all the World Cups that I hadn't seen. And I was like, let me try to decide who I think is the best team that's ever existed. So I have it in my mind, but I want to ask you who you think is the best soccer team that's ever existed. I mean, from a national team perspective.
Okay, so if you want to think about it over the span of history, or you want a particular moment in time, if you're looking
the span of history.
If you're looking at it from the span of history, obviously the team that's won the most World Cups is Brazil. So you have to give it to them as the greatest soccer nation in the history.
And by the way, the team that I picked, I'll tell you, it is a Brazil team, but which Brazil team? Like the 1930 Brazil team or the 2026 Brazil team?
The 2026 Brazil team can't hold the jockstrap to the teams of the past. The greatest Brazilian team ever is the 1970 team, the one that won the World Cup there. They were dominant, unbeatable.
They were dominant. Yeah, I don't think they even came close.
Nobody came close to fucking. Like it was a joke. Like there was no Italy that faced them in the final lost 4-1. Okay, every other team that faced them, they just toyed with them and destroyed them. They were so good, it was unreal. To me, though, there are two teams to me that are the best teams to never win a World Cup.
And probably one that won all the teams, yeah.
The 1974 Dutch team with Johan Cruyff,
right?
They were better than the German team, and the Germans beat them. That's a fact. And the 1982 Brazil team that lost to Italy in the semifinals 3-2 was way better than the fucking Italian team, and Italy beat them, and they only came in third. That team was stacked. They had a midfield genius, the greatest midfielder of all time, Socrates, who also, by the way, was a fucking physician, a surgeon, and played soccer at the world-class level. Like, how fucking wild is that?
I tell you, I thought, in the beginning rounds, I thought Holland was the best team in this World Cup, and they lost.
Yeah, but there was that team. In 1982, they had a player named Zico. Zico was a fucking stud. A stud, yeah. The greatest scorer, man, since Pelé, like crazy. They had Eder, and Falcao. They were like a stacked. Like everybody thought Brazil's winning the 82 World Cup. And fucking Italy beat them because of this motherfucker, Paolo Rossi, who decided to get hot right then. That son of a bitch, just in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final. That's where he scored all his goals. He scored 6 goals and crushed these guys.
The two most dominant soccer teams ever, right? The Germany and Italy. Germany hasn't, the last 3 or 4 World Cups, hasn't made it out of the knockout stage, the first game in knockout
except
stage.
This time.
And except this time. And Italy hasn't made it.
Hasn't even made it, bro. So the world has changed for soccer. And I think the German people are furious, and they're like, we got to redo all this. But I'm going to tell you something, man, and this is a fact, okay? Germany used to be, like, they called it the German machine. These guys were tough fucking sons of bitches and bastards. But Germany in the last 20, 30 years has been pussified, and they're being told to not be proud of their country and blah, blah, blah. And so these boys
and be ashamed of their history, and then somehow, because Nazis existed 70, 80 years ago, somehow that's their guilt.
How's that going to turn young German boys into men that play soccer the way the German machine guys did? They're pussified. And Italy, similar bullshit. They're pussified, man. You need unpussified young men to win championships and be the German machine again. They got to totally turn that around. And that, to me, Erling Haaland, Norway, you look at Norway, man, Norway doesn't seem like it's that pussified. There's not a lot of migrants on the fucking Norway team, right? The Norway team is like actual Norwegian.
It's a Viking team, yeah.
It's a Viking team. And these guys, they're out there, they're playing. And, good I'm for immigration. I'm an immigrant to this country. I think it's a good idea to immigrate and have an immigration system, but you can't fucking just throw the borders of your country open and let in anybody and everybody. And you can't tell the people that are born in your country that you're a piece of shit just for being born here. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. That's why Germany is not what it used to be. That's why Italy is not what it used to be. And I'm telling you, the countries that don't have this kind of wokeness embedded into their DNA are the countries that are going to succeed at the World Cup. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I read an article that it said that the average Italian youth, they're so because their economy is not all that great and they're so chasing going and start a career, they're not specializing in soccer, and that's why they're not producing as many good soccer players. I just read this article a week ago.
Well, it makes sense, man. It makes sense.
No, no, I didn't answer you who I thought was the team, and I may be wrong, but it's an opinion thing. But I encourage you if you get a chance to go watch that finals game or watch those games. The 2002 Brazil team that had Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo and Romario
Rivaldo, yeah,
and Rivaldo and Ronaldinho.
and Ronaldinho, yeah, that were pretty incredible. And
I mean, they had
Kaká,
and Kaká, who was awesome. I mean, he was just a goal scoring machine. That team is like it's like a dream team.
Yeah,
I had forgotten about it, and when I watched that game, I'm like, oh my god, these guys were so good.
They were. But when they beat Germany in that final, the German goalie, what was the guy's name?
Oliver Kahn.
Oliver Kahn. He was the utterest German fucking machine savage. You saw that motherfucker? He was a total savage, man. He was named most valuable player of the fucking tournament, even though you lost. I mean, that's got to fucking tell you how fucking awesome he played. And there, Michael Ballack, who, because he had 2 yellow cards, didn't even get to play in the final. He was a phenomenal midfielder.
You know who reminds me of Michael Ballack, being dominant, tall, and scoring headers is Haaland.
Yeah. Yeah, Haaland is actually though better than Ballack was. Haaland
he's better than
he's
Ballack.
better
Sure.
Ballack. Haaland, in my
Ballack
opinion,
was tall. It was like 6'4", big guy. I mean, back then you didn't have as many tall players as you do today.
No. But Haaland is a fucking machine. He is a machine.
He's a machine. I went to 3 World Cup games here in Dallas this year. I went to Holland, Japan. I went to Norway versus Ivory Coast, which, by the way, Ivory Coast, great game. Those guys are such great players. And then I went to Egypt versus Australia. Let me tell you, it's just so I got to watch 3 cool World Cups, and I don't know if I get to go another one this year, but it was an amazing experience. And for someone who I've been to Stanley Cup finals, I've been to World Series, I've been to NBA finals, and to 3 Super Bowls. I'd never been to a World Cup game. This was my first year, and I watched.
I still haven't been to a World Cup game. I'd like to go. I mean, the prices for the Toronto games were fucking ludicrous. They were $2,900.
I had a bunch of friends that went yesterday to watch Ronaldo versus Spain, and there was some that got lucky. Actually, a friend of mine called me. He's like, "Hey, I got a ticket, $1,500." I was like, "I got a conference call. I can't miss." So that was one of the cheaper ones. Some guys paid $3-4 grand, $5 grand for their tickets.
Dude, $3,000 per ticket. I was about to buy 3 tickets, so $9 grand to have me and my sons see reasonably decent seats. And the games in Seattle, same seats were like $800 Canadian. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just work my way into relationships with somebody who's at the World Cup in the future and say, look, give me a ticket. I don't want to fucking pay a stupid amount of money for it.
Yeah, I got lucky. Most of the games I went, people, friends of mine that had gotten their tickets, like they couldn't go, or I went with them. So
good for you. Good for you. Well, listen, if you come up with any other games that you get tickets to,
it may happen. We know.
Give me a call. Give me a fucking call.
In Dallas, there's still a quarterfinal game happening here. I don't know which one it is, but this game yesterday, and we went to the Egypt. A lot of my friends were there, so we were all there, and we're holding the Lion Sun flag and getting drinks at halftime. But let me tell you that Dallas Stadium is incredible. It's hard to get around because sections are hard to navigate. But I think a lot of Europeans got to see the hospitality in the United States. They got to see that a lot of the stuff they've been fed, all this propaganda, media wasn't true. Americans are so friendly. Everybody's everywhere safe. The stadiums are, even though they're not as big as some of the stadiums in Europe, they're just way more state of the art, just amazing looking stadiums. And I think the fans just had a great time. And it was so cool having the Japanese fans and the Dutch fans and Hal and all those guys here and experiencing our barbecue and Tex-Mex, and it was just awesome. So it's been a great World Cup, and I think it's done a little bit for economic activity in this area too.
1,000%, brother. 1,000%. Abteen, this was a fucking fantastic conversation. Two men who love football and
Also,
love the
two
World Cup.
youths.
Two youths.
I could sit there and talk sports. I mean, I could talk politics, but I could talk sports for hours and hours and hours. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. And let's hope the stupid Ayatollah funeral turned out to be such a pepper rally for all the people that hate the United States and the West. So let's hope something good comes out of there. And then we got to get some 93 million people in Iran to go get their country back. And so I'm hoping next World Cup they'll have a real team whose players are not going to be held out for their political beliefs. They actually will put their best foot forward. And these guys are talented. I mean, and by the way, there's the difference between the 9 dominant countries that won the World Cup and the rest is getting, the spread is getting less and less. So
I know.
And I make this prediction. I think Morocco is going to beat France.
Well, Morocco may beat France. If it happens, it'll be wild. I believe, like you do, that Norway is going to hoist their first World Cup. Erling Haaland will be World Cup champion. Bro, fucking great, man.
Bro. I mean, listen, they got so like people in the U.S. don't really get excited about soccer. You had a bunch of police officers and a bunch of American Airlines workers that were welcoming the Norway team, and they were doing the row. I mean, that's cool. That just gets everybody excited, and it's everybody's excited about sports.
Amen, brother. Amen. God bless you, man. You're the best of men, brother. Let's keep talking. I believe God is on our side, and the people of Iran will be free sooner rather than later. And what I want to see is the Iranians with influence out there throw everything behind the crown prince. You and I have talked about Patrick Bet-David many a time. I think Patrick Bet-David needs to get in line, and he needs to support the crown prince. There is nobody else that the Iranian people will support. Nobody. Pahlavi is a magic name among the people of Iran, and there is nobody else who has any other name that is going to.
But I would say, listen, I respect Pahlavi so much. He's such a gentleman. He's such a well-spoken, good guy. I've never heard him say ill will or his family say ill will about anyone. Everyone, that brand, that trust that exists, that's our history, that's our culture. But I got to tell you, he needs a lot of help. He needs a lot of help. He needs a lot more me, you, and the Patrick Bet-Davids and others who are going to roll their sleeve and help. This is not going to be an easy task. 93 million people need to get the country back, and there's a lot of evil forces in the world that are benefiting from Iran not being free, and we gotta fight all those forces.
We are, and God is on our side.
God is on our side. We're on the side of good, and God is gonna help us, overcome evil. So it's
with malice toward none and charity toward all, Iran will be free.
Iran will be free, and Iran's going to be a Christian country, I bet. By the way, how cool is it that Norway's got that big Christian cross on their flag? And by the way, so does England. But if you're in England, you're not allowed to show pride and take your flag up because you go to jail for that, which is crazy. So hopefully a lot of other countries are going to be free soon.
Amen. God bless, brother. Take care.
God bless. Amen. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Sovereign Man Podcast. If you're ready to take charge of your life and become the man you've always wanted to be, we invite you to join the movement at sovereignman.ca.